Next Sunday, NASCAR on TNT heads off to Michigan. Coverage begins at 12 p.m. Eastern Time with Countdown to Green delivered by Pizza Hut, followed by Sprint Cup racing in the Irish Hills. Denny Hamlin leading today, won here last year, and he won at Michigan last season as well. And Carl Edwards, while we were away, slow on pit road and then going in reverse. That's not good, Larry McReynolds.
I can only sit here and think back to the top of the show when it was reported that Bob Osborne and Carl Edwards were elected maybe not to shift. Okay, that buys you good fuel mileage, but that's a lot of RPM, especially on this front straightaway when you're staying with that 389 rear end gear the whole way around here. I just think that's hard, if indeed this is what's going on with Carl Edwards.
You know, and I was thinking about that this morning, Larry. I think there's, you know, if the Fords have anything over anybody right now, it's torque. So they can get around this place without shifting because they've got the torque off the corners. But like you said, maybe it's running out down at the end of the straightaway. Maybe that has created a problem.
In the report that we got, the 99 of Carl Edwards down a cylinder. Many more stories developing on pit road. Time now to go through the field, presented by McDonald's. Marty, lead us off.
Well, Adam, you know, it's funny. I was talking to Mike Ford on Tuesday. He told me, honestly, straight face, I'm worried about this race coming up. He said, you got to realize that when Denny Hamlin was here for his very first race, was the first race we didn't shift at Pocono. So he's worried about Denny getting adjusted to shifting here. I would say he's done just fine doing that. The car a little bit tight. All they've made is a quarter-pound air pressure adjustment today. Behind him on the track is Kurt Busch, our pole sitter earlier today, or actually Juan Montoya is behind him on the track in the 42 car. Juan said his car, you know, a little bit tight on that last run. They were the ones who stayed out on 2 tires. Clearly that worked. Believe me, crew chiefs up and down pit road have noticed that it worked for Montoya to stay on those 2 tires. Kurt Busch is behind Juan Montoya. He's in the 3rd position, our pole sitter today. Back-to-back poles for Kurt, but right now he has no side light on the car. He explains.
Hard to describe, but I just can't lean on the right rear for side bite getting in. It's too tight. But then we're starting to lose that same side bite on exit by trying to free it up too much. Can't quite lean on that tire to pick out loose on exit.
Thinking back to giving that a little bit of that track bar back to you and get some wedge out of it.
That's where I agree.
And Steve Addington talking about going back on the adjustment they made last time, Matt. See if that can help that 22 out a little bit, Matt.
Marty chasing him down is a patient Jeff Gordon. He knew the track conditions were going to change a lot today. He started in cloud cover. The sun came out during the 2nd run. Now we're back to clouds. Gordon says the car is pretty good. We'll see what happens. Just a tick tight late exit. Meanwhile, the car that he owns, partly with Rick Hendrick, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, he's about 6 seconds back of Gordon. His biggest issue, the car was just too loose late exit. Much of the race route, he has still been hitting the splitter on entry into 1.
Matt Dale Earnhardt Jr. says the car is turning in too strong into turn 1. Then he also asked the crew, hey, where is Jimmy Johnson shifting? The crew said everywhere. The next lap, Jr. went 0.4 of a second faster. The crew asked him, what'd you do? And he said, I'm shifting everywhere. On to KCK now. He's up into 7th right now. He's been pretty quiet. He said the track bar adjustment has helped, but not enough. He needs to make some more chassis adjustments to car number 4 to keep marching up through the field. He's running 7th right now, Marty.
Matt, Ralph, I'll tell you what, it's been a pretty good day for Kevin Harvick considering all that's happened earlier in the race. You might remember he got a piece of metal stuck through the grill, but it did not puncture the radiator, so that wasn't a problem. Then they ran out of fuel almost ran out of fuel because they didn't get the full tank full, so they had to come down pit road 6 laps earlier than everybody else. Yet here he is sitting in the 8th position. He will have to pit earlier than everybody else, but they're hoping that maybe they can get a caution before that, Matt.
Marty, the biggest problem for the 2003 winner, Ryan Newman, in the 39 car running 9, has been track position. The car a little bit too free on exit of turn 1. Otherwise, he feels pretty confident with the car. The track bar adjustment has seemed to help as well, Ralph.
The 18 has been pretty quiet. He says things are getting a little loose off of turn number 3. That's what they're working on right now, Larry.
Yeah, I'm looking at Brad Keselowski in that 2 car, qualified in the 20th position. Remember, his throttle stuck on him yesterday. But what a turnaround for this race team. The first 9 races, only 1 top 15 finish, 1 at Kansas. Just remember, Chris, he wants to get in the top 20 in points with that 1 win.
Well, Jeff Burton now in 12th, coming all the way up from 33rd today. He's pretty happy with the car. Now he's complaining that the car was a bit too tight early on, but they've been adjusting on it, and he seems to be having a good run. The only thing that I've been watching with that team is they were one of the first teams to come in, so their mileage not very good.
And he last made a pit stop, lap 43. His teammate Kevin Harvick going to have to come in fairly soon as well. Denny Hamlin's got him covered today. His lead, 2.7 seconds. Back at Pocono, TNT Race Buddy on NASCAR.com. Back and better than ever for the TNT Summer Series. New this year with 10 camera views, twice the number from last year, and you have full DVR capabilities of in-race highlights. There's no better way to enhance your racing pleasure on TNT than with Race Buddy at NASCAR.com. Denny Hamlin leading, and you've noticed something with him, Wally.
Well, I've been just watching the onboard, and it's really bad news for a lot of people because he's not shifting. He's fast, he's saving fuel, and he's not shifting. Chris, you got the Tony Stewart car headed your way.
Well, Tony Stewart drifted all the way back into, I think, 33rd early on, but he's worked his way back up just outside of the top 10 right now. He's much happier with the car than he was earlier. The car way too tight early on. Now he's saying it's a bit loose, so they're going to do 4 tires, chassis adjustment, and fill them up.
Jeff Burton making his pit stop as well. His teammate Kevin Harvick came down pit road while we were away, as did David Rudiman, Martin Truex Jr., David Reagan, Brian Vickers, A.J. Allmendinger, and others. And here comes Kyle Busch, Ralph.
Kyle Busch is in. And the car was a little bit better at the last round of adjustments. Water temperatures at 210. They're going to make some slight air pressure adjustments. That's about it, Matt.
Ryan Newman is in, Ralph. Chassis adjustment going in the back of the car, just trying to tweak that 39 as well. The Blue Deuce, Brad Keselowski, chassis adjustment for him, still not making the headway wedge that he needs. Ralph.
Looking to watch the happenings with Kurt, or I should say, Clint Boyer, as his service has been completed and he's away.
See, Regan Smith is on pit road. Matt Kenseth has made a stop, as has Brad Keselowski. Dave Blaney, who had fallen 1 lap down, making a stop at lap 71 as well. These scheduled green flag pit stops. Ralph?
Waiting for the Vickers car, or I should say Casey Kane, to come in and make his pit stop now. And the Red Bull machine, number 4, making his way to pit road. They're servicing that car, fuel, tires. He's been very quiet on the radio. They make a chassis adjustment, and he's away.
As Kane pulls away, here comes Joey Logano for a stop, Chris.
Well, and Joey Logano working his way up into the top 10 right now, sitting 9th. Going to make a little chassis adjustment here. He's been pretty happy with the car. They went the longest on that last run. They went about 28 laps. This one a little bit shorter. I think we got 23 on the board for them, but 4 tires and fuel. Marty?
Chris, Juan Pablo Montoya comes slowly down pit road. He ran second for that entire run, keeping the car up there. It's been very impressive so far in this run. He's a little bit loose, especially over the tunnel turn, but he doesn't want big adjustments. He told Brian Petty, very small air pressure adjustments and 4 tires. Matt.
And Marty, the 2 Hendrick cars, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon cycling down pit road. This stop, right side tires going on for Johnson.
Ooh,
no
trouble.
A little bit trouble on the right front. Losing a lot of valuable time, this young pit crew on the 48. Now on the left side, Ralph.
Tire change went smooth over here on the 88, Matt. They put 4 tires on it and fuel. He was a little loose. That's it. Made a slight air pressure adjustment. He's away.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. started 21st today. An early 2-tire stop. Got him track position, and he has been able to maintain throughout. Solidly inside the top 10. Jeff Gordon coming off and will make a pit stop at lap 74, and right behind him the pole sitter Kurt Busch. Both these under green, Matt.
And here comes the 4-time winner here at Pocono, Jeff Gordon. Easy entry into his pit box on the side. Jeff was telling Alan Gutson, I'm tight off the tunnel turn, but if you free me up anymore, I'll be in trouble over in 3 trying to get on exit. Air pressure change. Marty waiting on the fuel here.
Matt, we heard Kurt Busch say he just could not lean on that right rear. The car was way too loose, and a host of adjustments for Kurt Busch, down half around in the track bar, half around in the right rear of wedge, and also an air pressure adjustment, trying to tighten that thing up, especially on entry, waiting on the fuel once again to make sure they get it all full.
You know, if this even comes down to a fuel mileage deal, Hamlin's still got him covered. Because he's getting good fuel mileage because he's not shifting right now, and his car is handling perfectly.
Yeah, and he's just running his own race. He's rolling out of it. He's rolling back into it. I mean, he's saving fuel at this point in time. But that's exactly what I was sitting here thinking. If you looked at it a minute ago, we had Hamlin leading the thing. Juan Pablo running second. You had Jeff Gordon third. You had the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. You had the 88 car. These guys are the last guys to pit road. They're running the best, and they're the last guys to pit road. So everybody else is pitting a little short, trying to do stuff to catch up and hopefully get a caution to put themselves back in the race.
McMurray riding second. He's yet to make his pit stop in this cycle. And we told you a moment ago, Jimmy Johnson had issues when he made his stop. What'd you see, Wally? Right front tire.
He had a hard time. I think he thought he had all the lugs off. He went to pull the right front off, and he had to go back to get the lug that he missed. And that was a 20-second pit stop. That's 5 or 6 seconds slower than normal. And, boy, that's a lot of track position when you're cranking 200 miles per hour here at Pocono.
Johnson running 7th right now, and he will move up a couple of positions when some of the other drivers that have not made pit stops come to pit road. We told you Hamlin has not made his stop. McMurray is not in this cycle, nor has Paul Menard.
I'm not sure what happened to Paul Menard because he was running up there for most of the race.
He had to pit,
that's right. That's right.
He had to drive through. Yeah, he had to drive through.
And he's hoping for a caution now. But he's not getting it just yet. And now Paul will make his stop. Ralph?
Adam, he said he didn't want to get too far behind these guys. They said they're trying to do a fuel mileage thing. That's what Slugger Labby said. Paul went along with it. He wants to leave the handling alone. They're going to put 4 fresh tires on it, so they're playing the fuel game here as well, Marty.
Let's go down the checklist for Denny Hamlin. He's fast, he's not shifting, and he's got the fuel mileage as well, as Kyle and Wally were just mentioning. It's been a pretty perfect day for Denny Hamlin thus far in the FedEx team. All they're going to do is make a very small wedge adjustment for Denny Hamlin right here. He said he got a little too tight late in the run. That's really the only thing that he's messing him up, but otherwise the car very good, especially early in the run. That's where Denny makes a lot of his time. Oh, and a lug nut hangs on the left front, taking a very long time here on the 11 pit stop. This might cost him some time out on the racetrack, fellas.
Yeah, no kidding, Marty. That's, like I said, 4 or 5 seconds is about the same amount of time that the 48 team lost. So he still had a pretty good cushion, but it's going to tighten things up.
So Denny Hamlin has the issue with a pit stop. 18.9 seconds, as Wally pointed out. His issue began before he ever got to pit road. Look at this.
Yeah, that was pretty clean, though. I mean, it could have been a lot worse than it really was.
And he was lucky. He had 2 guys that had already pitted that were on fresh tires that were really sticking, and they knew where he was at.
And Gordon's going to be in the lead, or he will be in the lead once Montoya circles through. There's your leader there, yeah, Montoya.
So you compare the pit stops. How big are they? Montoya 13.4, Denny Hamlin 17.6. You see to the right, the entire time spent on pit road, the difference of more than 4 seconds. And that's why Juan Pablo Montoya is out front, getting on top of Denny Hamlin here at Pocono.